You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Inside the package we're getting two controllers. The controller quality is not bad at all, but let's talk about that later. The first thing I wanted to chit chat is this particular 4K game box. I was looking at it, thinking, okay, what is happening over here? Where are my freaking buttons? HDMI cable, by the way. But the thing is, they're in a separate box. Yeah, what is actually happening over here, and it makes even more sense when actually seeing the 3M sticker. It's not an handheld, it's just a game box. Why do we make something that looks like an handheld that isn't a handheld? This makes no sense at all. It also comes with a USB cable, but there is no power supply. We just need a user cell and 5 volt 2 amps. The controller quality, yeah, I don't know who thought the 4 separate buttons for a D-pad is going to be a good idea. I don't like it at all. So having select, mode and start our micro switch, the C and Z buttons and the A, B, A to Y, and they feel okay with the very long travel buttons. The joystick, yeah, it's not going to be a very pleasant experience. Got a nice resistance, but on top we do have this very nice pattern. It gives a little bit of a grip, but not enough. On top we're finding 4 shoulder buttons. The shoulder buttons are exactly aligned, and when you're just holding it, it's not going to be a very comfortable overall experience. So the controllers are absolutely laughable. We can remove the back cover, and we need to have 2 batteries, nothing special about it, I've seen it before. There's no way to switch one or the other on to player 1 or player 2, but we do have an on and off switch over here. But the manual, I think that was the biggest positive surprise about this thing. The manual itself, they did an amazing job with it, explaining how you need to add files to it and all the other things. If you want to mess around how it works with RetroArch and everything else, I must say, I must give them extra kudos. I wish they also give me this steering controller because that looks way more comfortable than the crappy ones I'm having over here. But okay. But how about the device? It has an HDMI output over here. The input for the power, 2 USB ports at the bottom, and of course the micro SD card. And it's just the self-corrupting crap that we have seen before with no brand whatsoever. Seems to be the Risen fan or something in the inside, a very tiny one. We can move the screen protector if you want to. I'm just going to be leaving on because it doesn't have any function. But let's grab ourselves a power supply and let's boot this thing up. Okay, so when booting up the device itself, it will indicate the 2 LEDs for powering on and for reading the SD card. And the fan itself, it's noticeable, but not like really annoying. Okay, so this is quite a weird situation. I'm just going to be honest, is that this is just the weirdest thing ever. But what you're getting is just actually an emulator box that we have seen many times before with, for example, the Ken Hanks Super Console X's. Only in a different form factor, a quite confusing form factor. Just going to keep saying it. But pressing start, let's take a close look at what can we change out. So this system hasn't been locked, so the positive thing, so we can change out all kinds of things like emulator, UI and everything else. We can even update it, and if you need to scrape for pictures, you can do that online. But let's take a close look at the system settings and the information for the specifications. It comes with EMUALIC 4.3, so far I know not the latest version. The temperatures are quite nice with 39 degrees, and it's not, let's say, very hot in here, but I think the active cooling is a very positive thing. So it comes with the CPU model, the S905H Revision 4C, that is actually a CPU number count of 4 or quad core. So it comes with the all famous Mali 450MP, and this is a system or a configuration that we have seen many times before now. It's not say similar 100%, but it's getting close to the first generation of Super Console X devices. So that's actually what we're having when it comes to, let's say, the software itself. But what can we actually play? That's the thing I want to focus on today. I will try out a handheld 1 or 2, but I don't want to focus too much on that because it will run just fine on this, and we have so many different emulators, so at that point we don't have any issues whatsoever. Where I do want to focus is the Sega Dreamcast as one of the systems, N64 and Naomi, and if there is on here the PlayStation Portable, of course, and the PlayStation 1. So out of the box we do have some nice art already installed over here. So we're even having a preview video with some of the games. But I do wonder with one particular thing. Did they remove the audio of the PlayStation games? Because that is a general problem of these devices nowadays, to save up space and to get more stuff on here. I really hate when they're doing that, so let's take a close look at it. Alright, so the first game I tried, it doesn't even boot up, but pressing select and start will give you the option to make a quick load, quick save in the option with over the quick menu of a RetroArch. When you're pressing it twice, it will automatically go back to the main menu. And yep, they removed the soundtracks. And that's a little bit of a bummer in my opinion, because it completely destroys the soul of the game. But the overall compatibility with PlayStation is not a problem whatsoever. We have reached the point now that we can play all kinds of PlayStation games without any problem. It will be on native resolution. They also forget to remove the, let's say, on-screen controls. While pressing select will give us the option to make a quick load, quick save. So press select and start will automatically bring you back to the main menu. Game settings, here we can just change it out. Here you can see the frame skipping even have been set to 3 times. That's absolutely crazy. And yeah, that is the thing that we're getting with these MP4 and the combination with the older quad-core CPU GPU combination. Let's put it that way. So everything has been set to speed up. The controls can be changed out over here. Here you can set the on-screen touch controls off, and that's the thing. All right. So, and that's what I love about these boxes, that we can still tinker with it. Next up, let's try some PlayStation Portable. And yep, there is no way of messing with the system so far from this point on. And I mean particularly when you're looking at, let's say, the quick menu, that doesn't work at all. I couldn't get into the PPSSP emulator that runs on the background. I don't see this weird glitches going on, so the overall performance is not bad. Pressing select and start will bring you automatically instantly to the main menu again. Where I know that most of these devices will run Doom without any problem, of course. We can even play this on a freaking calculator sometimes, depending what kind of calculator, of course. But yeah, the old school stuff runs perfectly on this, no problem whatsoever. There's a lot of homebrew when you can even upload to these like boxes and can play. It's absolutely cool to see what kind of development there are with Emulate. But when you're looking into the emulation of some 16-bit era, like the Genesis, we have no problem whatsoever. I've reviewed all kinds of Sega Mini things and they had always so many issues with emulation. But we have reached the point, thanks to Emulate especially, that we do have like some amazing overall performance, even on, let's say, very cheap boxes. But out of the box, there was a lot of shenanigans going on. For example, with the Sega Naomi, we couldn't get anything to boot up. And after like a lot of stuttering, we managed to get into the extra menu to shut this freaking thing down. We do have the option to get into the emulator and just to check it out if you can get something to run. But this is one of those shenanigan things that happens all the time with these boxes. You're getting something and it doesn't work. Okay, so let's give this thing another attempt. We're not giving up already. So pressing select gives us the view options. In here we're finding the advanced system options where we go into the emulator. And then you can even mess around with some other settings. But first, let's check out the other emulators. Flycast didn't work. Flycast 32B, Flycasta, and Auto. Okay, so this one didn't work out. So I think the best option maybe is the Flycast 32B. And let's check out if you're going to be booting up now. Okay, indeed it's going to take me for a ride because it seems to be working. The switch between the emulator was the issue over here. So one of the things you can just fix, and I'm very glad they didn't lock the system like other devices. We have seen it before, and if that happens you cannot do anything with your device. We do have some glitching going on at the back, but this is due of the GPU they're using in this system. That's quite unfortunate, where the competition already, let's say, fixed this issue. Oh man. I can tell you that the D-pad on this thing is freaking awful. And the analog stick doesn't do anything else. It doesn't do anything at all. Let's put it that way. So, wow, this is one huge mess. Then we are going to move on to the Sega Dreamcast, and let's check out with some Dead Alive 2 if you're going to have a good overall performance, or is this going to be the same shenanigans like with the Sega Naomi system. Take consideration this is old school stack, so it's not going to have a very good overall performance. But I'm quite surprised. I hear a minor hiccup, but it seems to be running just fine. So this new revision when it comes to the chip seems to be better optimized to the point that we can actually play the game. The thing I needed to show you when I wanted to get into the main menu, I wanted to go to the main menu by pressing select and start, it gave me the error message. So yeah, that just happened. But it did boot up. Okay, another thing I wanted to check out is the N64. I was searching for my keys and my buttons over here. The D-pad doesn't work, everything has been configured to the analog stick, like it should be. So N64 isn't a hit or miss, especially with these, let's say, low power chips. I choose cruising the world because I know this is a game that is working most of the time. If this doesn't run, it's absolutely complete garbage for N64. But when this actually game works, it's going to be absolutely a lot of fun with games like Diddy Kong Racing and other ones. But if you want to have perfect emulation, you just need to have more power like a mini PC. Man, this game is trippy. What the hell is going on over here, man? Woohoo! Okay, so one of the things I personally hate is when you're going to get into a handheld, you're having a full maximum 60x9. So let's see if we can fix that. So the first thing that we're going to do is give this thing a reboot. Let's get into the main menu. Then of course the select button for getting into the advanced options, pressing A over here. And here we can change things out. Game aspect ratio can be changed out. We have custom, square pixel, 101 and all the other things. So, you know, then when it comes to auto, it will automatically like get all kinds of width going on. We have bezels, so yes, let's put some bezels in. Before I forget, let's put the smooth games on. That is something I don't really hate. And the emulator, I will set it to auto. Let's check out if we have a square pixel. Let's see what kind of overall resolution. Let's say 4:3. Let's try that. And in combination with the bezels on and the smooth filter on, let's see how it will look. The smooth filter is something I would not recommend. The aspect ratio is not perfect, but you can see still some lines are cut off. But overall, I must say I'm surprised. It looks way better now than the 6x9 without any widthing going on. We can remove the bezel if you want to. But that's what I love about this. You can just mess around, tinker with it. Put all of the emulator in the games in a certain, let's say, aspect ratio if you don't want to see 6x9. I have played this game so much as a child, and somehow the music, the way how it plays, I never get bored. Let me know in the comments, what kind of games do you love to play on the Game Boy? With the key? See, that's when I still need to wake with the freaking system, or remove the bezel. That's one of the things you can do. Oh. If you get mad, just whip it. They also implemented the original music of the game. It sounds absolutely great. Oh yeah, I just shoot the guy. I must say that when it comes to the Game Boy Advance, they have absolutely some hidden gems when it comes to the games. There were so many cool games ported, so many good games made for this system. But I know a lot of you wanted to see what is inside of these things, so I just sacrifice sometimes these devices. I don't know if I destroyed it. No, it's still in good condition. But this is the top shell, and this is basically what's behind the top part. And you know, the construction, it makes no sense again. They just slapped on a thermal paste. There was no actual some cooling going on. We already checked it out, the specs in let's say emulate, but this is the S905H with the quad core. And here we're having the active fan. Yeah, so the active fan is just a fan that blows the heat out of here, but it's just sucking out the air out of this device. You know, this thing makes no sense whatsoever. You would say, hey, maybe it just blows fresh air into the internal parts, but nope, this is what we're getting. And also when it comes to this, thermal pads connects with the plastic. It's absolutely laughable. The way I also connect the fan itself, they just solder it onto the main board, but I must say that they also check, yeah, there is not, let's put it this way, they designed the PCB over here for this, over here, just for having the option. It is interesting, there is a micro switch, or a tiny micro switch on here. Let's see, what is there any production date? S905 version 1.1 2023 0920. So this is the PCB and what we're finding in the inside. So cooling wise, yeah, it's not the best out there. But if you wonder how about the buttons at the D-pad, these things are made out of rubber. So you're just going to be putting them in. You can just squeeze them. This D-pad over here, putting the red buttons in. I think there are two different ways. Yeah, the other one's a flat surface. And we can just put it in like that. And that's the idea. I must give them some extra kudos for this, just putting all of the effort. But still, it's so confusing because you would think you're getting an handheld, but you're just getting just a game box, nothing else. So it's a little bit of a big disappointment, especially when you're looking at the display. You would say there's a display in there, but just made it so good. Even putting a screen protector over it.